Let's have a look underneath. If I can get this out, I've got it unplugged. Let me double check, make sure you've got unplugged, and I'll show you the ball if I can get this out. Jammed in a bit. Heavy. Let me show you the ball first. That is heavy, that, with the drill on and that. So as you see, there's some bigger bits in here. Those are from that thin part I tried. It just almost went through. Generally speaking, it's pretty well granulated. And this is a metal one. I got a machine shop to make for me, which has, just the way, try and stop that rolling, has this Keyseat in it. This is what's known as a Keyseat. Basically it's a slot 2.5 millimeters deep, and I've got this is a 5 by 5 millimeter square key, which I cut down to 25 millimeters long in this case, and basically that goes into this Keyseat. It can slide, well, it can move, wouldn't say slide, but it can move, but I want it for any adjustment. And then in these cutting discs, it already has a keyway. I think that's not, that part is known as. So that's a Keyseat, this is a keyway, and that's the key. I mean, I just bundle them all together as a keyway, and you see how that goes on there. And basically it's obviously not impossible, but it's going to be very, you know, virtually impossible for this cutting disc to slip, which I've had an awful lot of problems with saw blades I've tried and cutting discs slipping round on this shaft. Well, almost, I'm going to use this as a shaft. Okay, let's get actually trying to shred, and I'm going to try, sorry, knock the camera there, going to try shredding this up. This is obviously one of these, probably the first iteration I did. I had to make it a bit wider for the wing nut I have in here, as I'll describe at the back end of this video, hopefully. Right, get this drill on. As I say, this drill, you can't see it from here, but it does have a button on that you can lock. I have put a bit of oil down here because I found this is rubbing against here just slightly, but we'll make that a bit, well, looking at it from here narrower. Let's give it a quick buzz first. That's right. Stop there and talk about this. See, this cutting there, the trouble here is having this plate on, which means that the blades do cut at a virtually 90-degree angle here, as opposed to not having this plate on, where because of the curvature of the blades, they're not going to cut at a 90-degree angle. But that cuts out well, it reduces the area of the cutting area here. And what's happening is the blades, once they've cut this, which as you can see is cutting very well there, cutting fast. I think that's maybe 35% infill, that's my normal settings, about 35% infill. Is that the blades are then, you know, like coming around and they're missing this, you've got a gap there, and then it's quite hard to get in here with this part anyway. I'll try a bit more. Well, that's cutting very well there, and the blades aren't slipping with this keyway and Keyseat all in here. The keyway is the slot in the cutting blades, the key is a metal like bar, and the Keyseat is there's like a slot cut in this M22 bolt there, that's cutting quite fast. But here there's a, well, I would say a pretty big, massive restriction in the amount of cutting area. I can't really get this in much more, because as I say, the blades are, once this has been cut, the blades are like going underneath this, and I can't cut anymore. Let's try a different bit, and I am not going to fake this. I'm going to show you how much plastic we've got of that. Let's try, I've got some other bits here. I'm using this mole wrench just for safety, because these blades are very sharp and they are for cutting metal basically. They're like a milling cutting blade. I'll talk about that here. Well, I'll tell you a bit about the blades here. Now this is just a maybe first layer, first couple of layers here. So this is a thin, very thin piece, and we'll see what happens with this. I'm not sure what's going to happen with a thin piece like this. as you see there, this thin piece is a large extent just flexing out the way of the blades. It has ripped some off, which I don't think it's shredded. We'll have a look a bit later. Have a look in the ball. Wrench. Right, so let's try this. Oops. This is for hot end, like a fan on there. That blows across the hot end. Just let me zoom out, not zoom in. As you see there, some bits have flown off. So this is chewed up, this wear plate here I've got on here. I might try this without this on, because then it will be... The trouble there is, what I found earlier is that the blades actually grip the part and want to drag it forward without this plate on. All the parts I want to drag forward. Now I aren't pressing too hard here. I'm just, you know, like medium. Let me try a different bit again. So you might see the wear there, that's sticking up a bit. It's actually chewed this plastic. Obviously you could have a metal plate here if we decide to keep this, like what I'm calling a cutting block on here. If I decide to keep that on. Something certainly came loose there. I don't know if you noticed that. Let me get it unplugged. Now what's come loose? Well, I tried to look at the video on the camera, which is not the best way. I'll have to get on the computer to try and analyse what's going on. But as you can see here, there's no like melted plastic or any chewing on that bolt head here. That just goes on the bolt head. This wing nut in here, I have a big wing nut, is okay. So the only thing I can think of here is that this chuck has been slipping on this, on these like threads, the grip here. That's all I can think of. I'll show you inside under there. I can't see any problems there. I can't see how those blades would turn with that keyway in. I'm just going to call it keyway. Doesn't look like that wing nut has even been moved there. Well, it may be moved against the edges a bit. Well, the plastic there, but as I say, spreading the load, and it doesn't look like any damage on this insert here that grips the nut. So there's only one thing left, I think. Oh, I didn't undo that, did I? What happened there? Let me think about this. Which I always wrap on the wire near the plug, so that I always, if I'm changing any bits or anything in a drill, it's very hard to forget to unplug the plug and just go around three of these holes in here. So very much like a lathe, I think. You go around gradually. Sorry about this. I want that basically as tight as we can. Make sure. Just double check. Remember that the jaws of this chuck will probably be digging in the teeth of this wing nut I've got on here. Right.